Hello everybody and welcome to Dodge Walks. So, I'm kicking off a new Dodge Walks YouTube channel chronicling my journey as I walk around various places in the southwest of the UK and longer trips up in some of the longer trails in Scotland where I'm heading in October. I'll also be uploading a few videos that I've shot in the past but never really brought together in one location. So, I hope you'll stay tuned and I hope you enjoy. So we're kicking off today down in South Dartmoor. I've just taken the train from Exeter down to Ivy Bridge. A lovely journey along the coast. Got off the train at Ivy Bridge. I've just slogged my way up the hill at Ivy Bridge and I am sweaty. It is a very warm day that I've chosen to do this. It is the middle of June 2026 and the temperature out here is probably in the low 20s, I would say, something like that. But it's a fairly sustained climb out of Ivy Bridge. I'm following the Two Moors Way at the moment, a trail that I walked back in, old age and memory, 2022, 2023, early 2020s. That was my first experience at a long distance trail, which I did for Macmillan Cancer Research. And yeah, I loved it. Absolutely loved it. I had intended to do a vlog for it. However, some point on day one, the microphone that I was using decided to die. So I lost all the audio footage. So this is take two, as it were, with hopefully a better camera and microphone setup. Where am I going? Up this way. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. But we've come onto the moor, just down there at Hertford Moorgate. We have annoyed some sheep as we've come up the hill. And I'm making my way up to the tram line, which runs the length of the Two Moors Way up to the centre of South Dartmoor, I think is the best description. And at the top of that, there is an old China clay works called Red Lake, where I'm planning on camping tonight. Depending on how it goes. It is, what's the time? No, that's the GPS coordinates. It is 4 o'clock. So, I've got a few hours of usable daylight. Well, it's middle of June. It'll be light until 9, half 9. So I've got plenty of time to get there. I intend to stop often because it's warm. And yeah, we'll see how we get on. Talk to you shortly. A lovely view down to Plymouth today. Right the way in the distance, the visibility is excellent. So we're coming up out of Hertford Moorgate, getting up towards the tram lines now, and we will continue on through the South Moor. So, one of the things I'm going to try and do on these vlogs as well is let you know the gear that I'm using and my thoughts on it. So we're going to start off with my top. It is a sunny day, so I'm wearing a long sleeve icebreaker merino wool top. Now, merino wool in summer, Dodge, what are you doing? This is a very lightweight merino wool. I think it's, I can't remember how they measure it, but it's 100, 150, whatever that equates to, grams per something or other. It's very lightweight. It is, however, long sleeve. Now that might seem counterintuitive in the summer, and I've also got the hood up, but for those of you that don't know, I am follically challenged. Sorry, let's go with follically aerodynamic. I'm follically aerodynamic. So having the hood in the sun in the summer, one, helps to keep me cool because it's keeping the sun off of my head and off the back of my neck. And two, it's acting as a form of sunscreen. This does have an SPF nature to it. It's not a factor 50, but it's certainly going to block out some of those harmful rays. So yeah, in the summer, I quite like to wear this. Even though it's long sleeved, the benefits outweigh the long sleeves, definitely. And then also paired with a Patagonia cap, just a lightweight cap, helps keep the sun out of my eyes, and also gives the hood something to sit on as well. So This is what I will usually be wearing for, I don't know, 90% of my summer walks, something like this, or something similar. Yeah, it's comfortable, I like it. And also, because it's merino wool, that does mean that it is, or has a degree of antimicrobial properties to it, which means it's less likely to stink. Less likely, not a guarantee. But yes, I like it. Horses. Some Dartmoor wild ponies. It's important to remember, Dartmoor wild ponies are exactly that. They are wild. If you go up and approach them, the mothers have a tendency to kick, especially if they have a foal with them. So yeah, look but don't touch. Gorgeous things. It's very hard not to love this south part of Dartmoor. It sees a lot less summer walking traffic than some of the other areas of the moor, because it's somewhat less accessible. You either have to park in Ivory Bridge and walk, or you've got to find one of the smaller hamlets or villages to the side, try and find somewhere to park, and then walk up from there. So consequently, one of the best parts of this particular walk, you don't see anyone. It's lovely. I've got miles of views all the way around. The neighbours are unbelievably friendly. But yeah, I'm the only soul around. I'm hoping you can see this, but in the distance, somewhere around there, look on the horizon for the pointy sticky thing, you've got the TV radio mast at North Hessery Tor. Now, if you are walking on Dartmoor, this is a great navigational feature. Not only is it clearly visible from here when we're however many miles away from it we are, it's several hundred feet tall. At night, it obviously has aircraft warning lights on it as well. So if you're out on Dartmoor at night, you probably can use it as a navigational checkpoint. It sits right in the middle of Dartmoor in Princetown. So if you're like me in the south of the moor, I know that that way is north, and that is actually ultimately where I'm heading to Princetown. Or if you're in the north part of the moor and you can see that, you know you're heading south or towards Princetown. So yeah, North Hessery Tor mast, great little navigation feature on Dartmoor. Now, if that's not a metaphor for Dartmoor, I don't know what is. You've got some lambs and some sheep grazing and chilling on the side of the hill. Down in the valley, you've got the river running down through the path on the other side. And then a long view out down to the coast in the distance. And then swinging up, all the way up to the middle moor. God, this place is pretty. Watch has just beeped to say I've done 5 miles, so I thought I'd use the opportunity to have a little sit down. Hydrate a little bit. Yeah, and just have a quick chill. One of the things I've just realised, well, the audio's all funny. The microphone is over here. This is going to require me to remember this, isn't it? Yes, watch us just beat 5 miles, so I'm taking the opportunity to sit down and give my feet a bit of a break. One thing I'm historically bad as a through hiker or a long distance hiker is giving myself a break. I tend to go out in the morning like a bat out of hell, charge off, and then consider any stopped time is wasted time. And I need to change that mentality. That's not the best mentality for through hiking and for long distance hiking. When I did the West Highland Way last year, did exactly that. Off charge. I knew I only had a 5-day window to do it. I was somewhat constrained by work and other things. So, so I knew I had a short time to do it in, but I could have done myself so much more of a favour just by taking it a bit more easy during the day. A few more breaks in the day, getting to camp an hour later in the evening wouldn't have done me any harm at all. And as it turns out, by the end of the West Highland Way, I had overuse exercise-induced tendinitis, which is my own bloody fault. I went at it with not enough fitness for the pace that I went off at. So I think if I was to do the West Highland Way again, which I would like to do at some point or other, probably in winter, I'd like to do an additional challenge, I'd like to do it in winter, I would have to remind myself to take it more easy. And one of the reasons I'm doing these walks is because I am training to do another long distance walk. Going back up to Scotland in October is the plan, end of October, and I'm torn between 2 trails at the moment. I'm torn between the Afric Kintail Way, which runs from Drumnadjotchit out towards, I can't remember where, it's going to be highlighted under here because I've forgotten the name of it, about 45 miles through Glen Affric and through Glen Kintel, and it's supposed to be spectacularly pretty. So that is a strong contender. The other one I'm looking at is the East Highland Way. Now, the East Highland Way starts, or finishes, depending on your perspective, at the end of the West Highland Way in Fort William, and then runs over to Aviemore, over in the Cairngorm. It looks to be considerably quieter than the East Highland Way, which again is very appealing, and also looks to be very pretty. So I'm torn between one of those two trails. I'm not sure yet which one it's going to be. But it's currently mid-June, and I haven't done any long-distance hiking since I did the West Highland Way over a year ago. So this is, this is a shakedown hike, really, shaking down my body, getting used to walking again, shaking down my psychology, getting me to walk in a better way, a way that's more sustainable over multi-day hikes, and yeah, just to get myself back into the outdoors, a place that I dearly miss and love. So yeah. Quick 5-minute break to get the weight off the feet. In other news, point them down. I'll cut to some B-roll in a second. I'm walking in my walking boots. Now, it is very warm and my feet are getting very warm. I would normally walk in trail runners in the summer. However, my Ultra Lone Peak 9s are dying. The back of the heel cup is coming out of them, so I need to look to replace those. October's a bit of a weird one in that for me, it's getting towards the end of the period where I'm comfortable thinking about trail runners in the UK and would probably be wearing boots anyway, and it would be these boots that I take. So these need to be worn in, and I need to walk in them to keep them molded to the shape of my feet, to keep my feet used to walking in them. However, today I'm finding them very warm to walk in. So yeah, new pair of trail runners is needed. So yeah, there we go. 5-minute update. See you in a minute. Bye. Test. Yeah, okay. Just dropped my brand new microphone, so just checking it still works. Thankfully it still does. That would have been annoying. Right, we are getting towards the middle of the South Moor. We're going to go, hang on, where are we? What can you see? Over there, just over there. And that's when our path is going to deviate off of this track and we're going to start heading over towards Princetown. So then the terrain will become somewhat less certain underfoot. Gone will be this nice steady path, and we'll be on to more sort of moorland trail, as it were. We'll see how it is. We're certainly getting deeper into the moor now. The hills have become much more featureless. There are very few navigational marks except for this track that I'm on. It's a reminder that Dartmoor can be an unforgiving, featureless place to be. Wild, rugged, but stunningly beautiful. Typical. Miles away from anywhere, and I bump into a Devon traffic jam. At least the traffic's moving anyway. At this point, the trail meets the boundary stone, which marks the point at which the Two Moors Way diverges off to the east. If you're following the Two Moors Way, this is the point at which you need to turn off the tram line and start making your way down to the brook. My path, however, is turning west, past Red Lake that you can see in front of you, and on this rather unmade track that sort of goes out in front of us here. We are off the nice rugged tramway onto some uneven ground as the path now traverses itself over to Red Lake Ford and Dry Lake Ford. Now I'm going to try and get to Dry Lake Ford, which is about another mile-ish on, because I need some water. I've only got about a litre of water left, so I need to filter some water. And I believe, if I remember rightly, there's some good camping there. So yeah, we've got to make our way across this ground now, which is a little bit boggy underfoot. Actually, suddenly glad I've got the boots. And yeah, oh Christ. Right, I'll tell you what, let's turn the camera off before I sprain an ankle, shall we?
At this point I stopped to collect some water out of one of the streams. One of the advantages of walking on Dartmoor is you're generally speaking never too far away from a water source. Now of course it's very important that you use your own judgment and experience to decide how you're going to treat that water. I personally tend to go for a combination of filtering, treatment and boiling in order to not get a case of the Dartmoor tummy the day after.
So we're getting down to the convergence of Dry Lake Ford and Red Lake Ford, where the two waters meet. Just stopped and got some water in my filter. Yeah, I think we'll look at, it's just gone 7:15, so I think we'll look at next available pitch now. Will be where we'll stop for the day. That's a good few hours walking, I'm happy with that. So of all the gin joints, there was somebody where I wanted to camp, so I've had to push on a bit. And I'm now kind of in a situation where there aren't many good spots. So yeah, I'm at that point in the evening where I'm like, I need to set up camp, but I can't quite find anywhere. I'm sure I'll be fine, but right now, not sure where I'm sleeping for the night. Okay, better find somewhere.
I carried on for about another 50 metres, and after climbing up a short incline found a wide expanse of flat grass. Perfect spot to pitch up a tent. Now, as you can see in the background, I'm zooming through doing this. I'm very, very speedy putting up my tent. This footage is definitely not going at 500 speed. I'm getting my tent set up. This is an MSR Hubba Hubba NX. There are so many videos out on there on the features of this tent, so I'm not going to cover it too much here, but my thoughts on it are it is a very good tent for the money. It has lasted me well on the West Highland Way. I'm very impressed with it. Its main obvious downside being, and as you will see now, is that it pitches in a first. You can pitch it out a first in a pinch if you've got the ground sheet and you're prepared to look, watch me fiddle here with the poles as it keeps falling out. Wasn't concentrating, too busy thinking about the video. Yes, you can pitch it out a first if you can get the poles to wedge into the ground sheet, but it's a bit of a faff in all honesty. I tend to just be very speedy if I need to put it up in the rain. But otherwise, it's got lots of mesh in it, so for a night like this where I'm expecting temperatures to be relatively balmy, that mesh is going to help keep some airflow going. Airthrow, that word, help some of that go through the tent to help keep me a bit cooler. There we go. Right, I've pitched it now. Okay, back to the show.
Whew. Managed to find a spot just as the sun was coming round to set. Probably got about another 3/4 of an hour, maybe half an hour of good usable light. It's 8:05, probably 3/4 of an hour, maybe 9 o'clock. We're down in the south. It's middle of June. Sunset's not till like 9:30ish, something like that. So we should be all right. But there we go. That's the MSR Hubba Hubba hitched. I need to get some food on, get some water boiled. I'm rather done in. I've walked exactly 10 miles today. Started late and had a few things on this morning, but I've got to admit I am rather done in. I'm looking forward to some food and some water. I think part of the problem is I haven't drunk enough. I've drank 1.5 litres of water in 10 miles and that's probably not enough. So I picked up a litre of water from the stream a ways back. I'm going to filter that and boil that and get my dinner on. Drink the rest of that. Then there's another stream about 20 metres down that way. After I've done that, I'll go and get some more water. Now, the chap that I bumped into at the site where I wanted to camp did do me a favour and said that he'd seen a dead body. Not a dead body, a dead sheep or some sort of dead creature in the rivers further upstream. So that puts me in a bit of a quandary. It means I don't trust just my filter. So I'm going to go for filter and a rolling boil. Now he said it was in the water by 2 bridges. Now if he does mean 2 bridges is a good, 5-6 miles away from here, something like that. So I'm probably all right. But yeah, I've gone into paranoid mode and I'm going to filter and boil my water after that little tip off. So let's get that started. Find somewhere to keep the tripod from falling over. There you go. I'm parched. I have not drunk enough today. I should have filled up earlier at the previous river. Okay, so let's get the jet boil on. I've moved back to my jet boil recently. Paul Mesner did an interesting video about the benefits of ultralight stoves and ultralight titanium cook sets and ultralight everything, and came to the conclusion, and I've come to a similar conclusion, that ultralight stuff is great in that it doesn't weigh a lot, but you don't have any type of windshield, you don't have any kind of increased efficiency like you do with the jet boil. So overall, I would say I'm better off lugging the weight of the jet boil around and not having to worry about running out of fuel or anything like that. So, Katadyn B3 AC. Let's get this filtered. One thing I've noticed straight away, the flow rate is not as good as the old Katadyn. God, I'm parched, I need water. Yeah, oh, it's not bad, but yeah, it's not as good as the old one. That's roughly the fill line. Yeah, see, easy. What I like about the jet boil as well, you can hang it, it's just a little bit more sturdy than trying to balance a titanium mug on top of something else. Dinner tonight is chicken parmesan and basil risotto. This is the Expedition Food range, and this is the black pouch, which means it's 1,000 calories. So this should stock me well up and good for the evening. I'm not actually hungry at the moment, but I think that's because I'm thirsty. So I'm going to make this up, leave it to cook, as it were, leave it to rehydrate. I have, which I made out of insulation stuff, insulation tape, and I think it's the stuff you line boilers with, lag boilers with, a little pouch that's in exactly, so that will then stay warmer for longer as it cooks through, so you get more of the calorific warmness, as it were. I'm pretty certain the calorific warmness, this is my technical term by the way, doesn't actually count for diddly, but you know, makes you feel better. Somewhere in here I've got a tiny pocket knife and I can't find it. There it is. Now, that is all the knife you need to go camping in this country, I'm convinced. It's got a pair of scissors to chop fingernails, it's got a knife to cut things, and it's got a pair of tweezers to get out tweezy things. That's all you need. Right, dinner. So, I have boiled a couple of litres of water that I've first put through the Katadyn B3 AC, which I got from the wonderful people at Ultralight Outdoor Gear. Not sponsored, by the way, but wonderful people, can thoroughly recommend them. One thing I will say is I've noticed that this has got faster. So I think probably, as this is the first time it's been used, the microfiber filter at the top probably needs to saturate in order for it to start to get the best flow, and the activated carbon disc, which sits up in the top cap. So I think once that's saturated, then you get a better flow through it. So yeah, the second litre has gone through considerably faster than the first litre. Boiled through on the jet boil flash. So it's been filtered and then had a rolling boil for 30 seconds, which should be enough to kill 99.9% of whatever might be out there. And then I'm just, once it's cooled down a little bit, pouring it into these Canuck, I don't know, whatever they are, these Sonos through hiker bottles. So those of you that have through hiked or backpacked for more than 3 minutes will know that the smart water bottles, and in the UK certainly the active range of bottles, ACTIPH I think it is, the Magic Special 9pH water or whatever it is, are very popular because they are 1 litre, tall and thin, so they fit nicely into rucksack side pockets. Sonos saw that this was not the best use of plastic, so they've got these BPA free through hiker bottles, and first impressions, I've used them for a few walks now, they're brilliant. Yeah, they're a little bit heavier, but they are considerably more durable. I've put water in here, which is, it's not boiling, but it's not cold either, and it seems to be absolutely fine. I shouldn't get any microplastics killing me, not that there isn't a load of other stuff in the world that's trying to. But yeah, first impressions, nice pair of kit, very happy with it. So I'm just waiting for the second half a litre to boil down. I can do half a litre at a time in the flash. Then I'll do that last half a litre, and that'll give me just under 2 litres of water. I'll probably do a bit more in the morning, but that'll probably be me done for this evening. It is 8:45. So want to think about getting to bed soon. You kind of go to bed with the sunset whilst you're out camping. Temperature's starting to drop a little bit. It's not cold by any stretch of the imagination, but you can feel that the temperature is starting to drop. Letting my toesies air out. You have to excuse the toe socks. My wife absolutely hates these, but I find they're amazing. Toe socks combined with, what are these called? Darn Toughs. Darn Tough socks. And then Injinji toe liners. Brilliant. Never get a blister. Absolutely magic combo of kit. But yes, slowly chomping away through my dinner. Not a big appetite, but that's because I'm dehydrated, and I know I'm dehydrated, and I'm annoyed with myself for being dehydrated. I should have known better. Yes, so we'll hydrate up, we'll get some food, and then we'll hit the head. Hit the head? No, we won't hit the head. We'll hit the hay. Hit the hay. There we go. Right, see you in a minute. So, this is my current sleeping system. Let's get that out of the way. So we've got the MSR Hubba Hubba tent. We've got the Enlightened equipment. What's this? This is the Revolution, is it? Evolution, Revolution. It's the, what is it? +6 bag. The 30 bag, I think it's called. Or is that -6? I can't remember. I'll have to look it up. I'll link it. It's supposed to be good to, I think it's +6 degrees, something like that. It was a revolution in sleeping. I toss and turn at night. I'm a very active sleeper. Just having a quilt over me really made a difference to how well I slept. It's held in place by a couple of straps underneath, there, and then a closed toe box, which you can open if you want to. And then, yeah, you basically use it like a quilt. And then I've got a Cedar Summit pillow. Not really a fan of that. That'll probably get replaced. It moves around too much from asleep. So that is open to debate. I prefer something that elasticated around the ground mat. And yeah, so the ground mat is the Big Agnes Rapide SL. It's got a 5.0 tog rating, 4.8 tog rating, something like that. And this is the wide long, because I am tall and I am wide. And then underneath that, I just have a very light 3mm, I think it's made by Graham Counter, something like that, Graham Counter gear, something like that. And it's just a very light 3mm foam pad. And that really just stops the Rapide SL from moving around more than anything else. So yeah, that is my current summer, well, really 3-season sleep system. I've used it from April through till September so far without any problems. October in Scotland, yeah, I'm probably going to have to rethink something else. But yeah, it's a very comfortable sleeping system. I sleep like a baby in it. Cool, there you go. All fed, all watered. I drank 1.5 litres of water. Yeah, dehydrated. Foolish schoolboy error, but there we go. Feeling better now. Ate all my food, which is 1,000 calories that my body will definitely need. I'm all in my dry clothes. Wet clothes are in a stuff sack that I just keep to put wet stuff in my pack. I'm not going to show you because it's quite cramped in here. It is, what's the time? It is 25 to 10. I'm going to try and get some, well, I'm going to try and get some sleep. I'm going to settle down, read a bit of a book. I've had to look at the map. My route tomorrow is pretty simple. It's about a 5 or 6 mile finish off of the moor, or get my pickup at Princetown. But yeah, I'm going to read a book and then, yeah, see how much sleep I get. So I shall see you in the morning. Good morning. It is 5:45. Got a bit of sleep last night, in chunks here and there. Yeah, slept in sort of 45-minute hour chunks, and then something would wake me up, and then I'd go back to sleep again. So yeah, seems that's pretty normal for the first night out in a tent for me. I don't know why, but it takes me sort of a night in a tent to get used to being under canvas again. So first night of any trip, I tend to not sleep very well. But the weather's been very dry overnight. It's been quite peaceful. You can see a few bugs on the inside of the tents, but no swarms of midges or anything like that. One thing I did do last night was a tick check. Couldn't see anything, so even though I went through a bit of tall grass down by the rivers, I seem to have got lucky and not got anything on me. I think my plan now is to pack the tent away, and then I'm going to move down to the river, which is about 50 metres away from me, and get some water on the go, and get some breakfast sorted, and then head off back, start making my way towards Princetown. Cool. See you in a bit. One of the underrated things about a nice morning, you can get your stuff ready just like all over the floor. Doesn't matter. It's dry. Now, I've got most of my pack packed away inside the tent, roll mat rolled up. The packing Tetris is always good fun. I've got a very specific way I like things to go into my rucksack, so it all fits in order, all fits in, and it stays nice and compact. So it's kind of what works for me. Sleeping bag goes in at the bottom in a dry bag, inside a dry bag, double dry bag for extra dryness because it's down and it can't get wet. And then after that, my clothes bag goes in because I'm pretty much wearing what I'm going to wear for the day now. I've got my jacket out there just in case it gets chilly. I'll just put that onto just to keep the chill off, but at the moment it's lovely. And then, yeah, all of my other stuff, so my electronics bag is away, clothes bag is away, contact lenses have gone in, glasses, you know, all those kinds of things. So basically now down to the tent. Now, if it had been raining, then this would have all been done in the tent, and then the bag would have been chucked out, and then I'd get out and strip the tent down as fast as possible. But as it is, it's a nice morning, so I've got a bit of time, which is quite nice. Tent's relatively clean, so it's just going to need a good shake off. There's no condensation on it as well, which is nice. I haven't had any condensation at all. So yeah, that's good. So we're going to get camp struck and then, yeah, get some water and stuff. Begone, foul beasties. Always keep your smidge handily accessible. Because when you want it, you'll want it to hand straight away. You won't want to go burying through your pack to try and find it. Right. Poles go in the side pocket. All nicely bungeed in place. Food bag in there. Waterproofs on top. Haven't needed those, that's nice, but always make sure your waterproofs are the first thing in your bag. They should always be the first thing that you can grab. Because when you'll want waterproofs, you'll want them more than you'll want your smidge. So this pack is the Atom Packs. Now they've changed their design lineup recently. Oh, the camera's all the way over there. Am I doing this all off camera? Oh well, scenic shot in the background. This is the Atom Packs. I think they've rebranded it now. I think it's called the Mo 50. And it's a fantastic piece of kit. It's incredibly lightweight. It's a 50-litre capacity in the main bag. Smidge all over my merino ball now. You can easily fit a couple of 1 litre water bottles in the side, and then on that side I've got my little bed liner thing, my poles. I paid for the avocado pocket, they call it at the top, which has got my map, compass, microfiber cloth, and if I'm walking in Scotland, my lucky Highland coup goes in there. I've got the 2 front pocket options. The only thing I will say is the front pocket's great for a little half-litre hydration type bladder. Not great for if you want to put anything bigger than a small phone in there. So I've actually got the Gossamer Gear phone pouch on the front of it. I don't tend to use that one. Sometimes I'll slide my glasses in there, but otherwise, yeah, that one for a phone didn't prove to be too useful. And then you've got the 2 snack pockets at the bottom, which is what they are, exclusive snack pockets. Right, let's wander down to the stream. Let's get some water. But yeah, that was how long? Professional. How long did that take to pitch up? Pitch up, strike up. Not too long. 10 minutes or so. Less than that. Felt less than that. And that wasn't particularly rushing it. If it's pouring down with rain, I will obviously go a bit faster. Right, the most important activity of the day now, because without this, none of this counts, none of this matters. It's all for naught. Start Strava. Doesn't count otherwise. Just a little addendum before I disappear off down to the river. He says with water all around his mouth. Had a quick glug. It is vitally important to me, and it is one of my core beliefs of being outdoors, and I believe it should be yours too. Leave no trace. Leave only footprints, take only photographs and memories. So have a quick sweep around, make sure I've not left any rubbish. I've got a little dry patch, a little slightly flattened patch where my tent is, but otherwise I've got everything. I haven't left anything behind. All of my food waste is packed up, anything else is all packed up. I've left nothing behind. That was a good action shot. Stay. I am graceful and agile, and this is really, really mossy. This is going to be really slippery. Yuck. Why didn't I do this on the other side of the river? Oh, ow! My knees are somewhat stiff after a night's camping. Stop looking at my bum. I said stop. Oh, the midgies, the midgies, the midgies. Ugh. The most attractive piece of outdoor kit. How do I look? Hey, 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 I know, right? It's already getting warm. I can feel the air starting to warm up already. Sun has come up. It's about 7:30, something like that, 7:45, 7:30, 7:45. What is the time? I have no idea. Should probably be more aware of that, shouldn't I? It is, oh, it's 7:45. There we go. Thought I'd spent longer striking camp than I did. Yeah, water has just been boiled. We're just letting it cool for a little bit. But yeah, it's already going to be a warm day, so I'm glad I'm getting up and walking early before the heat really kicks in. I should be in Princeton 10 o'clock latest, something like that. Meet wife and daughter. One thing I'm going to say as well, head nets. This is a smidge head net. Not all head nets are equal. If you're going to Scotland, particularly, then you really want one of the finest deniers. Is that the right word? Feels like that's the right word. The finest deniers that you can get. You can get mosquito nets, which have got a much wider hole diameter in them. This is a great explanation, but you want something that is midge proof, so that means to be really, really, really fine mesh. So this is the smidge head net, and I would say is the go-to head net if you're heading up to Scotland. And yeah, obviously anywhere else in the UK as well. Right, let's cool down in a bit, get that into my water bottle, get another half a litre done, and that'll give me, what, 1.8 litres of water to get to Princeton, which should be plenty. There is a bit of a disaster. My food was one of the last things I packed yesterday, and what I thought was a breakfast oats has turned out to be mushroom pasta. So yeah, packing quickly didn't look. So I'm not really feeling mushroom pasta for breakfast. I do have some granola, so I'm probably going to have a bit of granola for breakfast, and I think I've got some stroop waffles as well, so I might have a couple of stroop waffles for the get up and go. But yeah, porridge is not on the menu this morning, annoyingly. But hey, it's my own fault for packing at the last minute. Right, I shall talk to you when I'm on the road again. So we've just climbed out of the Head Valley where I was, which is poles. Damn it, I've got to pick those up. So over there you can see Red Lake, the old heap over at Red Lake. We came down just through that valley, you can see through the middle, and then up through there. We camped down somewhere where that sort of darker area is there. And we've walked up this morning, up this hill, and we picked up the remnants of the old Abbott's Way, which will head off that way. Once we get over the hill, we should get a view of Princeton and down to Plymouth. You can just see possibly over in the horizon there. You might be able to see Plymouth off in the far distance. And I can definitely hear some music from somewhere. Definitely. When the wind's in the right direction. I'm not going mad. I promise. So this is very cool. Come across an erosion monitoring project. It's a large, like 8x8 post that on the top has a place you can put your camera, and there's an app you can download. I haven't got a good enough signal to download it. But yes, you can put your camera on there, place your smartphone on the metal bracket, take your photograph, upload, send us your photograph. The map button on the app shows the locations of other erosion sites being monitored. So it's like a crowdsourced erosion monitoring project, which, given how soft the soil is in Dartmoor, a lot of it is obviously very peaty with the granite substrate, so it's, a lot of the paths on Dartmoor are subject to quite a lot of erosion. That's a very cool project. In fact, you can see, yeah, right there, good example of. Anywho, we are going to head through that rutting there, that gap there, and then we're going to take a right-hand turn, Clive, and then we're going to follow, you can probably just see it as a slightly different shade of grass, the path up round to the right, and that'll take us over towards Nuns Cross and get us down into Princeton. Breakfast is waiting. Oh, fiddlesticks. Well, For the most part, I've stayed relatively dry. Yeah. Whoa! I just flipped you upside down then. Yeah. Oops. So we're getting towards the last 3 miles or so of our journey as we head off towards Princetown. If you remember yesterday, I talked about North Hessery Tor Mast. It's over there now, much closer. A guiding beacon into the cafe. You can see Nuns Cross Farm, the old abandoned farmhouse down in there. And then over in the distance, you've got the Whiteworks cottage by the Whiteworks old mine. Again, all abandoned and unused. But yeah, our path just goes through the middle there. You might be able to see in the distance where the path cuts through the hill over there. It's a well-worn, well-made path, hard standing, whatever it is. Hard basing, yeah, whatever that word is that I'm trying to say, I don't know. And then just in the distance, you might be able to see South Hessery Tor, just at the lip there, and then it's a nice gentle downhill all the way into Princetown. Yeah, getting towards the end. I'm looking forward to a cup of coffee and possibly a full English at the Fox Tor Cafe. That might be on the options. Yeah, that's on the options. Yeah. Well, there we have Nuns Cross Farmhouse, long abandoned and boarded up, sitting there in front of those pine trees. The neighbours out here causing a disturbance. It's easy to find these buildings out on Dartmoor quite creepy, a bit Blair Witch-like. I find them rather charming, a sort of a snapshot of the past. I find myself wondering what it would be like here 100 years ago, when there were crofting communities out here trying to scratch a living off of barren terrain, what life would have been like. I like them. Family of ponies there. Having a little play. A couple of them have got foals, so we'll give them a good bit of distance, leave them to it. Never ever try and interfere or play with the Dartmoor ponies. Wonderful creatures. I've made a friend. He likes me, he's wagging his tail. So we've just passed South Hessery Tor behind me, which means we've got just under a mile to go to get down into Princetown. So it's time to wrap this video up. So overall, it's been a lovely overnight. WildCamp. Lovely weather. Lessons learned, I needed to have hydrated a bit more. All of my kit has performed really well. Really happy with some of my new purchases. That new Catadine B-free AC water filter in particular has been amazing. Things that have let me down. My boots. I have struggled with my boots pretty much since I started walking. I don't know why. I've walked in these boots plenty of times before, but I have had a couple of hot spots on the heels of both feet. Thankfully, I applied Leukotape preemptively before I left yesterday, so that's stopped me getting any blisters, but they've not been particularly comfortable over the 16 miles that I've walked. So I need to have a look why, what has changed. I suspect probably it's the heat. It has been very warm, and Gore-Tex boots, no matter what the advertising might have you believe, aren't particularly breathable. And I think my feet have just overheated. I think that's just the fact of what it's been. I do have a couple of Superfeet insoles, which I might try, see whether that helps. But for the most part, I think they've just got hot. So that's probably what that was. Normally, this time of year, I'd be in trail runners, but I need to get a new pair. Oh, that'll be my wife telling me she's on the way. Yes, so overall everything has been amazing. Actually, one of my lecky poles, the bottom part of it has kept coming off in bogs, so I need to strip my lecky poles apart, clean them, and work out why one of the sections is coming loose. Probably just needs a bit of a service. But yeah, I'm going to walk into Princetown now, get myself some breakfast when Mrs. Dodge and Daughter Dodge arrive at the Fox Tour Cafe. I really hope you've enjoyed watching this video, the first official Dodge Walks video. If you've enjoyed this, please do comment, like, subscribe at the bottom of the video. It really helps with channel engagement, especially for new channels, just to help get yourself up the YouTube algorithm. So yes, if you've enjoyed this, there will be more to come. I'll be doing some kit reviews, I'll be doing more walks, both day walks and overnight walks, as I work towards training towards a Scottish long distance trip later this year. But otherwise, thanks very much for your time and have a great rest of your day. Bye.